Today, we're going to demystify a department that pretty much everyone thinks they know, but very few people truly understand: human resources. So, what is it they really do all day? Let's get into it. I mean, we've all been there, right? Filling out mountains of forms, signing contracts. But is that all there is to it? The answer is a definite no. The real function of HR is way more strategic and, honestly, just far more interesting. You know, the best way to think about HR is to see them as the architects of the entire employee journey. From the very first moment you apply for a job, all the way to the day you leave, HR is there, managing that whole life cycle. To really get its strategic importance, we need a proper definition. So let's get to the core of what's called human resource management, or HRM. Okay, so that's the official textbook definition. It sounds a bit formal, I know, but the key thing to take away is that HRM is an active process. It's all about managing people, a company's most valuable asset for sure, to achieve some really specific, really important goals. So what are those goals? Well, they're actually pretty ambitious. It's not just about company profits, you see. It's about creating a positive work life, upholding ethics, and trying to align everyone's personal and professional goals. It's a really delicate balancing act. And this is a fantastic example of what those objectives look like in the real world. This policy from the Tata Group, it's not just some nice-sounding statement. It's a direct application of HRM principles like equality and ethical behavior, and it literally shapes the entire culture of the company. So, how does this whole journey actually begin? Well, it starts with one of HR's most visible roles: finding the right talent. The selection process is basically a structured funnel. It starts out really broad with all the application reviews, and then it gets more and more focused through tests, interviews, and checks. It's all designed to find the absolute best person for that role. Now, what's so interesting here is how companies like Infosys have totally redefined what best fit even means. They're not just looking for the skills you already have. They're looking for learnability, your potential to grow and adapt. That is a huge strategic shift. And where do companies find all these people? Well, they've got two main options. They can look internally, promoting their own people, which is awesome for morale. Or they can cast a much wider net and look externally to bring in fresh perspectives and new skills. Once someone's hired, the journey is really just getting started. The next critical phase is all about development and growth. A really key concept here is something called job enrichment. Now, this isn't about just piling on more tasks. It's about making the work itself more meaningful and challenging. By improving the quality of the work, companies see a direct impact on innovation and, this is crucial, much lower employee turnover. And how do they do that? Things like giving employees more control, providing constant feedback, and rotating responsibilities to keep things fresh. All of these actions are designed to fight against boredom and stagnation. Training itself really comes in two main flavors. You've got on-the-job training, where you learn by doing, think coaching or internships. Then there's off-the-job training, which is more of a formal setting with lectures and case studies. Both are super important. It just depends on the skill you're trying to learn. And that brings us to performance reviews. Now, these are so much more than just a report card. A good evaluation is actually a diagnostic tool. It tells both the employee and the company where the skill gaps are and what kind of training might be needed next. Okay, so you've found the right people and you're helping them grow. Now, how do you keep them? This is where the science of motivation really comes into play. A fundamental idea here is called equity theory, and it basically says that we are all constantly doing this little mental calculation. Is what I'm putting into this job equal to what I'm getting out of it? But here's the crucial part. We also ask, and how does my deal stack up against my colleagues? Fairness, it turns out, is an incredibly powerful motivator. So that feeling of fairness in your pay, it's a massive driver of retention. No surprise there. But look what's right up there with it: work-life balance. It's just not all about the money. It's also about being able to have a life outside of work. Here's another perfect example. IBM figured out the importance of work-life balance really early on. They were offering flexible schedules and remote options long before it became the norm. This is a direct strategy to hold on to their top talent by giving them the autonomy they crave. Ultimately, keeping your best people is all about fostering their overall well-being. It's a holistic approach, right? It includes everything from physical safety and fair pay to mental health support and flexible schedules. So let's pull all of these different threads together. When you look at the entire journey, it becomes crystal clear that HR isn't just a support function. It's a core strategic partner in the business. And this really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. Good human resource management is the bridge. It connects the potential of an organization's people directly to its biggest strategic goals. And without that bridge, even the best business plan in the world is probably going to fail. It really is an art form, this blending of the complex, dynamic needs of human beings with the concrete goals of a business. When a company gets that right, that blend is exactly what creates sustainable, long-term success. And that brings us to our final thought. Just think about your own experience for a second. How has your company's approach to hiring, to development, to your well-being, its people strategy, how has that shaped your journey? The answer to that question reveals just how much HR really, truly does. Thanks for tuning in.